Hey everyone, this is Tom from MonTac here doing the weekly MonTac Matchup for the 22nd of October. Today we have Apocalyptic, a top 3 player, top 5 player, top 8 player, all-round great player, King of Europe some say. How are you doing, sir?
Hello, I'm doing great. Thank you for that amazing introduction, by the way.
Yes, of course. Now, I've got a bunch of really high quality matchups. Let's get right into them. So first, on the first all-US matchup we got is rank 3 Charging Badger taking on rank 6 Ham Hunter. This is really a bit of a battle of rookie versus veteran here. Obviously, Charging Badger, former champion, got a couple wins there. A lot of experience with all the top guys. Ham Hunter only lost to Crowler. That was in the quarterfinals of the tournament. So obviously this is going to be a great match for Ham Hunter to see what it's like to be in those top elite levels. It's also a great chance for Badger, because if Badger wins this, well, the winner of this will get the next shot at Misfire. So this is in itself the contender match. So for Badger to get back at Misfire, this is it. What are your immediate? I think actually, sorry, before I give you that, Charging Badger, I believe, will be using Sky Soldier just because.
Of course.
Unless I force him to use a set 3 card in a set 3 archetype in an exhibition match, he's never going to change. And a Ham Hunter, I would predict. It's a bit of an unusual one. I don't know necessarily what Ham Hunter will bring to this, but I would say it's going to potentially be Terosians, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Not 100% on that one. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that Ham will be a challenge for Badger, but I think that Badger wins. Just the veteran, I think he wins.
Alright, fair enough. But like I said, it should be a really interesting one. And it's obviously not the end of the world if Ham Hunter does lose, because it's to such a big opponent. Alright, let's get to the next one. Now, rank 14 Shadow taking on rank 20 Tail Sweet. Now, obviously, they both had tough seasons, but this could be a really good matchup, considering Shadow's first ever win since they came back was against Tail Sweet, so this actually could be quite a competitive match in that top 15, top 20 area. Shadow, obviously, at the moment using, I think it's more generics. I don't think he uses Tactician. I think he's more on the generic side.
Yeah. Okay.
And Tail Sweet always known for Terosians. Another great matchup. We have seen Tacticians do quite well. I mean, Doozy's in a title match this weekend. So, what are your thoughts on this matchup?
I don't know really. I think a draw might happen because but if not a draw, I think that Shadow wins.
All right, interesting.
I didn't know that Shadow won against Tail Sweet, but now that I know, I think that Shadow wins.
Alright, interesting. Should be very interesting to see how that goes. Alright, now let's get to your match. Now you've got quite a fun match ahead of you.
I do.
You're taking on the previous champion, the last Vanguard. Obviously, he gave you a little bit of trouble in your last match, which actually was a title match. And now, obviously, I believe he'll stay with Sunwalkers just because, similar to Badger, it's going to take a miracle for him to really change from that. But you've got a lot of options ahead of you. I personally believe, considering, your last match you used those Rogue Beasts and it got you a win over an incredibly strong, I would say the best control player out there, Shadow Galaxy Wolf. And you got that win the last turn. I would think with a deck that powerful. Now, you always don't tell anyone what you're going to use, but I'm just speaking out loud. I think out loud what you would. My thought process would be, especially with a deck, Squishy has no set 3 experience. Something like Rogues, I feel, would be incredibly useful. Of course, you would have to get them to really get going and not get shut down by Minotaur. So you've got weaknesses, you've got strengths. You've got a lot of options. You could rock Terosians. I think you'll use Rogue Beast for this one. Obviously, it's going to be. I think you'll use Rogues because they were so effective against Shadow Galaxy Wolf. But obviously, in this matchup, are you thinking this makes extra time, or where are you thinking?
I'm pretty sure it makes extra time. Okay. I'm really pumped for this match. I was like, when I saw it, I was like, everybody, stop what you're doing. I'm playing Squishy. And and I'm just going I want to have fun in this match. I mean, Squish is a really fun opponent. I want to have fun. If I'm playing Robist, I don't know how much fun Squish will have.
Well, that's going to be really hard, because if he is able to think on the fly and get the win, then that's going to be massive. But considering how difficult road beasts are, I mean, you literally had a 15 to 11 deficit in that last turn and turned it around and got the points. The problem you're going to face, and I know this, is that Sunwalkers love to ditch cards, so you're not going to be able to stop them from using synergies. So this is going to be an incredibly tough one. So I don't know. I mean, that's sometimes all it is a deck change, and that makes a champion. You know, you know, for the longest time, Misfire couldn't get up to those top levels, or he would, and then he would lose a contender match. And then he went to Dragon Angels, got the title, and then he went to Steel Edge, got the title. So sometimes it's just a deck change. But all right, let's get to the last match. Now, this match I really wanted to go a little more in depth on. Now, obviously, we've got Misfire undefeated this season, current champion. And Doozy. Now, Doozy's only losses. The first one is to Zweistein when he forgot to use Dragon's Fire. So I feel like we can take that one out. And the second one is a forfeit loss to Shadow Galaxy Wolf. So with that in mind, Doozy actually hasn't. And one of their draws was actually a draw to Not an Alt, which Doozy really should have won towards the end, but wasn't able to get the win in time. But with that in mind, Doozy's got a really nice record coming into this matchup. Doozy's also got a lot more experience with set 3. They've been really going around playing different people. The real question is Doozy, what's Doozy going to come into this with? Now, Misfire, my prediction, now I'll do Doozy's first, because that'll explain why I'm predicting what I'm going to predict. I think Doozy has two options. Doozy can run Mutated, right? But it can be a little bit complicated for them. Or Doozy can run Tactician, right? Now, the great thing about the Tactician deck is it's got so many different, like, I guess you could call it like a Trident kind of deck. It's got so many different points. It's not just a single card that does everything. Because Mutated, you're really relying on those big synergies. But with the Tactician deck, you've got so many different little plays you can make. There's like, you've got Vixens you can power up. You've got Tacticians you can power up. You've got Supreme Dragon Conqueror, which can pop. And the worst part is, Misfire and I built that deck. So if Doozy goes to use that, they're really asking for Misfire to abuse it. Now, here's what I'm saying. Misfire, whenever he goes into these matchups, Misfire so rarely takes risks. The only time Misfire has ever taken risks is when he knows. And he knows, not like he guesses, he knows that if he doesn't, he will immediately lose. So in that mind, it's not a risk, it's just the only thing he can do. So that was when he was taking Yuon. Yuon in the, I believe it was the quarterfinals, I believe, or was that semi-finals? I think it's semi-finals.
Semi-finals, I think, yeah.
Semi-finals. So that was when he knew there was no way he was going to get through your Terosians if he used Angels. So he went full Steel Edge. Now, I believe he's going to use Steel Edge because from what we've seen in Misfire, he uses the deck that works until it doesn't. He doesn't like to take unnecessary risks. He's very calculated. He's a very serious player. Now, even like in the Discord, he's just very formal in nature. So I think he's not going to be flaking around, trying different things, especially against Doozy. Now, the reason that matters is this is Misfire's first chance at defending again, having this new reign, and Misfire has created and made this deck that's incredibly strong. Even with Lizardman getting a little bit of a nerf, this deck is still quite a monster. And I believe with Misfire having the possibility that Doozy is going to use Tactician, I think Misfire runs Steel Edge and slaps one Hammer Down on the deck. I think that's what he does. I think he runs Hammer Down. One copy, not anymore, because if he runs two, I think that will be too bulky. And considering how even that Hammer Down is a little bit of a question, but I think once he hears Tactician is in the mix, he's going to have to really seriously consider it, because that is the major card to shut down Tactician. But if he does run it, it means he might not run something else he may need. Like he might take out, I don't know, he might have to get rid of a Gear Shield. I mean, I don't think he would, but The real question is, if he can make space, I guarantee it's the first card he would chuck in against a Tactician deck. Also, because I've tested Tactician on him a bunch of times, so he knows how annoying it is. So if I'm Doozy, I'm going to focus on making sure that when I'm playing my decks, and when I'm playing Tactician, I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket. Force Misfire to use whatever he can, shut them down, hammer down, whatever. But you've got 2 Tacticians, I assume, something like that. You've got your power-ups. You've got so many different options. I think if you can force Misfire to hone in on Tactician, you've got the win. Because I think Misfire has... I think Misfire can be exploited because it's just such a horrible thing. Like in your match with Doozy, just that Vixen at the end was enough to take you out. Because he just ran out of things high enough to beat it. So I think something like that could happen. All that being said, sorry for me going on, but what are your thoughts on this matchup?
If you asked if this matchup was happening like 2 weeks ago, I was like, Misfire, of course, Misfire. But now with the wins and the changes that Doozy made to his deck and his strategy, I don't really know. He's very unpredictable. I think he will come with generic Tactician, Doozy. I think that's his best deck. And
it's definitely the deck they've learned the most.
Yeah.
But Misfire knows the deck. Like Misfire hasn't saved
exactly. That's like
on his untap. So, but the thing is, Doozy has made changes to it. It's not the exact same deck. There are little changes to it, which I don't think. The problem is, no one takes Tactician seriously until you're facing it and you're like, okay, how do I kill this thing? Even Squishy taking on Shadow. Alright, now Squishy got Gemini Shadow twice, and Shadow's using a very similar deck to Doozy, was still able to make it to extra time against Squishy with a Tactician deck. So even Squishy was frustrated, right? So the thing is, you Gemini someone twice and they're still able to put up enough of a fight to survive to extra time, and not just die the one turn after. Shadow lasted an extra 7 minutes past extra time. Right? So it was almost a draw because they're both outside top 5 at that time. So if you had to make a pick, what are your thoughts in this matchup? What do you think is good?
I think that Misfire is the better player. So I'm gonna say Misfire, but who knows? Maybe Doozy can troll Misfire one last time and become champ. But I will pick Misfire.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I don't see Misfire using anything other than Steel Edge. I think it's too much of a risk against, especially an unknown opponent, on how they play. Because Misfire's only played Doozy, I think, once before, and Doozy was using Bandits. Or something like Angel Bandits or something. It wasn't like this. He's never seen Doozy play Tactician, so I really doubt Misfire is going to be the type to just, I'll use Life Gamblers or I'll use Dragons and see how it goes. Because he's going to rely on a card, and especially how dominant his wins were with Steel Edge. You know, that's surely got to be a strategy he goes into with. Justin, you know, if it don't broke, don't fix it. You know.
I think he will take this very, very seriously, this match.
Well, anyway, those were the matchups for the weekend. Now that's going to be very interesting to see how that goes, because we've got a bunch of people coming through. Obviously, Charging Badger coming through. The winner of you and Squishy is going to be coming through as well. And even if Doozy loses, right, Doozy will still be quite high up in the rankings. I think they'll still make top 4 pretty easily. But we'll see how it goes. But anyway, do you have anything else you want to say before we wrap up?
Not really. Everybody should have fun. That's what it matters. And may the best win.
Awesome. All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on. It was very interesting to see all these matches, and I'll see you at your game.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for having me again, and the third time.
Awesome. All right, see you guys.
See ya.